Welcome back, everyone, and I'm here with SBR Contributor Jordan Sharp, and today we're going to be looking at the opening NFL lines. How you doing this morning, Jordan?
I'm doing great, Dax. Nice to have you. Thanks for having me back, man.
It's always a pleasure, my man. All right, let's start looking at the opening odds for the Jets and the Patriots game. Now, BetOnline opened this one up on Sunday at -7.5, -125 in favor of the Patriots. But that same day, they closed out the line at -9.5. Now, by Monday morning, BetOnline had them at -10, -105, while PinnacleSports.com has them at -10, but plus 108 juice. Now, in any case, what do you expect to see from these lines for this Thursday night game, Jordan?
I think we've probably seen as much, increase as we're going to see. I'd be very surprised if the Patriots continue to climb past 10 points. A couple books right now, 5 Dimes, Pinnacle, and BetOnline have them all the way up to 10 after opening at 7.5. But I think we'll probably see this line settle around 9.5, which is where a lot of basically the other half of the books that have the line out right now have it at. I just think that the Jets are, obviously their offense is not playing great. And their defense, their secondary has not been great as well after the game yesterday against the Denver Broncos. But, New England has shown that they've started to improve a lot. The question is whether or not they're going to be good enough to cover this game against the Jets. Obviously, they play the Jets play them pretty tough normally. But the game being in Boston, I think we'll still definitely see this line close to 10 points, but probably just under it at 9.5.
All right, now how about the other game that we got here on our list, the Bengals between the Colts. Now, Pinnacle opened this one up at -3, -117 in favor of the Colts. Now, as of Monday morning, the only line movement that we had in Penny was pretty much on the juice, and now we can find it at -114. What's your take on this one, Jordan?
I think this line's probably going to stick at 3 points. I'd be surprised if it went up or down anymore. I think if it does move, it's going to go up to 3.5 and not down. The Bengals defense is just absolutely an array right now after these last 2 weeks. And going up against the Colts, that's probably going to get worse before it gets better. So you have to think that if we do see the line move, it'll probably be more so in favor of the Colts. I mean, this team is just incredible this year. Not only is their offense and Andrew Luck playing outstanding, but that defense is so undervalued right now. And I think people are finally realizing that the Colts defense is a hell of a lot better than what it was last year, especially against the run. And the Bengals, that's pretty much their main weapon right now, especially with the A.J. Green injury. So I think a lot of it depends on what A.J. Green's status is. I think if he actually comes back, that could be what moves the line down. But if he's still banged up, and maybe even if he does play, I still think the Colts will probably end up seeing this line rise in their favor. So if you like the -3 right now, it might not be a bad idea to jump on it.
All right, now the other one that we're looking at here is the Dolphins against your Bears. Now, BetOnline opened this one up at -3.5, -105 in favor of Chicago, while PinnacleSports.com had them at -3, -115. Now, as of Monday morning, the odds at BetOnline are right now at -3, but with a higher -130 juice. Now, while Penny 2 has them at -3, they also have a high juice, but at -125. Now, knowing that the Bears team did show a little bit better last week, I'm pretty sure that this one's going to be a tough one to cap. But what do you think about this one? Where do you think that this line is going to end up closing up?
Yeah, I have to think that this is, you're exactly right. This is going to be a really tough game to go with either side on right now. And even over the last couple of hours, I've been watching this line. We've been seeing some of those books that have it at -3 and a lot of juice move the line up to -3.5. 5 Dimes currently has it at 3.5, -110, as does Bookmaker. So I think we'll continue to see that maybe as a trend after the Bears' very impressive win on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. But the Dolphins are nothing to get, they're no team to really forget about. Their offense has been really trending upward. They're getting healthier. Their defense is still playing somewhat well. This is going to be a pretty evenly matched game. I am pretty weary of either side, though. I'm probably just going to lay off and maybe go with a wager on the total instead at 49, because even though both of these defenses are playing better, they're not that good still, and it could be a pretty high-scoring game. So, but like you said, man, the spread's just so hard to predict with these two teams. You don't know what you're going to get from them week to week. They're not that consistent, so that makes it even harder when they're playing one another to cap.
Yeah, I have to agree on that one, man. All right, now the other game that we're looking at here is the Carolina Panthers going up against the Packers. Now, Pinnacle Sports opened this one up on Sunday evening at -7, even money in favor of the Pack. And 7 minutes later, they moved the juice to -106. Now, since then, nothing has really happened with this game. But after watching Green Bay struggle to win against Miami last week and knowing that Carolina's defense is way better, I'm sure that the line is going to start moving a little bit more once we get close to the game time. But what do you think about this one, Jordan?
This is another one that could probably go either way. We could see it increase to 7.5 or even higher, or we could see the Carolina Panthers start to take some money and drop it down below 7 points. It looks like most of the books that have the line out right now have it at 7, so there's really no 6.5 lines left, which wasn't the case just a few hours ago. So that's another interesting factor here to take into account. But I definitely think this is one that you're going to not want to put an early week wager on. You're probably going to want to wait and see where this line moves one way or the other before diving in on it, and definitely check the SBR consensus page to see where the money's going to, because I think that could be a big indicator as to where the sharps might be on this game. But right now the line's pretty sharp, so it might not move too much either. Some of these lines, as we get later in the season, Dax, they're going to get a little bit smarter. They're going to get better. The lines aren't going to have as much influx as they normally do. So we'll see where this one goes. But like I said, I don't think it's going to move much more than a half point either way.
Yep, I agree on that one. All right, man. Now, the other one that we have is the Falcons going up against the Ravens. Now, Atlanta comes in after a disappointing loss to the Bears in Week 6, while the Ravens pretty much blew the Buccaneers to smithereens. Now, as for the odds, BetOnline opened this one favoring the Ravens by 6 points on the spread with a -115 juice. Now, as of Monday morning, the odds are now at -6.5 in favor of Baltimore at BetOnline and -6.5, -114 at PinnacleSports.com. Now, I expect this to be a good old quarterback shootout between Matty Ice and Joe Flacco. But when it comes to the lines, I could only expect them to stay between the 6 and -6.5 range. But what's your take on this one, Jordan?
We're already starting to see it trend upward. So I think we're going to see more people jumping on the Ravens and make this line increase some more. We're already seeing a lot of the books jump it up to 7 points, and even 5 Dimes right now has it at 7.5 with a +120 juice. That's not a bad value, as we know, because Atlanta just really seems to struggle on the road. And after struggling last week against a bad defense at home, that doesn't give me very good feelings about the Falcons heading into Baltimore, a much better defense than Chicago, and being on the road this week. So I think people are jumping in on the Ravens right now. I think probably you should too if you really like them right now, because most of the books still have them at 7 points. And I think Pinnacle right now has them at 6.5 still with a -114. So either one of those lines seem pretty good value. Even the Ravens we saw just explode against the Bucs. Probably a pretty bad team, so not that great of it. But seeing Joe Flacco throw 5 first-half touchdowns is probably a weight off the shoulders of Ravens fans and the coaches alike, just because this offense has been really inconsistent this year. The running game showed up. So if this is the type of Ravens team we're going to see henceforth, they have a really good value this week against the Falcons.
Yep. All right, man. The last one that we're covering here is the Aints against the Lions. Now, with a week of rest, the Aints hope to actually turn their season around as they go up against the Detroit Lions in Ford Field this Sunday. Now, as for the Lions, they had a nice win against the Vikings in Week 6, which led BOL and PinnacleSports.com to open this one up at -2.5 in favor of Detroit. Now, as of Monday morning, BOL and Pinnacle pretty much just only moved the juice to -120 and -118, respectively. Now, I can think that this line could actually change if Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson will be able to play next week, which is definitely going to hit the Saints defense pretty hard. But what do you expect from this line? I mean, could it go up 1.5 if Megatron and Reggie Bush actually play, Jordan?
I don't know if it's going to go up a whole full 1.5. I could see it increasing definitely, especially if Calvin Johnson is able to play. But I think you could say the same about Jimmy Graham and whether or not he could make an early return this week after a week off. I know that's not what really the reports are saying right now. The reports are saying he could end up missing Week 7 too. But, it really depends on those two big pass catchers for either way. I don't think Reggie Bush is going to have a huge impact on the line one way or the other. Megatron is. And whether or not his status is good to go this week, I think that could definitely move it up to 3.5 points. But I just can't see Megatron moving the line more than just a whole full point. But the same can be said about Jimmy Graham as well. And we could see that if he's maybe making an early recovery, we could see this line drop to 1.5, I think, as well. So it really just depends, I think, on the health of those guys. So make sure you're watching practice reports this week very, very steadily for this game, because a lot is riding on those two big-time receivers.
Yeah, actually, I was saying that 0.5 point just for Reggie, because I do think that Calvin Johnson can move it up 1 full point, but Reggie, that's why I was throwing that 0.5 point in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, he could help move the odds, definitely. I think it would probably take both of those guys playing for the Lions to actually move, though. I think that Bush obviously is maybe their third best receiver right now after Megatron and Golden Tate, because they don't really have a whole lot in the passing game in regards to pass catchers in that offense. Eric Ebron's kind of stepped up as well. So you're right. He could probably move it just a little bit. But obviously, as you know, Megatron is the guy that you really need to keep your eye out for in his status this week.
All right, Jordan, thanks a lot, man. And thanks for all the points of view. And look forward to talking some more football soon, dude.
All right. Thanks, Dax.
No problem. And for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.
The SBR network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.